noticing in shorter hair is androgyny is coming into play. Because it used to be when someone came into your salon and they had longer hair and they said, Andrew, I want you to cut my hair off. Where do they usually want long hair still? Here, here. They wanted soft, fringy edges. Now they're bringing me pictures of Jennifer Goodwin, who else? Charlize Theron. You guys seen her at the Oscars? How does someone look that hot with a boy haircut? Serious. Oh, sorry. Can you tell I like her? But that's what's cool is we can actually take a short haircut and we can change it really simply by just tapering in our edges differently, taking away those wispy pieces. And that's where I was talking about there's less of that wispiness on things and there's more structure. So now I'm switching to the other side. This side tends to be a little less awkward because now this elbow can get up in the air rather than kind of being down here. I'm gonna elevate this straight up to the ceiling, find that 45-degree angle. A lot of times what I do to help myself visualize is use my comb. See how I'm putting my comb on the 45 and then coming up to my guide? Doesn't that help you get an idea of what 45 is rather than just your finger? Your finger's a pretty short area. So put that comb there and you're gonna create a nicer picture of where you wanna go as far as a 45-degree angle. Come in, deep point cut, or sorry, not deep point cut. I think I'm just so used to saying that word because that's what we did for so long, is deep point cut, deep point cut, deep point cut. Just gonna cross check, make sure I'm still where I need to be. How many of you guys cross check? Be honest. You do, okay, good. She's like, I swear I do. I think that's almost like a lost art, man. I still see so many people just blazing through a haircut, chatting it up. Oh yeah, I saw her at the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. And man, they're just blazing through this haircut. They never take time to make sure that there's any balance within their shape. Okay, so I'm on my final triangle. It's this one right here in the fringe area. I'll show you guys over here too. And I am gonna do something different here. I don't want to necessarily cut short to long because I want this to sit forward and I want to actually cut a fringe into it too. So I'm going to do two things for you guys. I'm going to show it to you as more of a side swept, just kind of long layered fringe, and then I'm going to cut more of a fringe into it, a shorter fringe into it. If I go into this and cut it short to long, I'm already going to have a piece that's too short for me to cut a fringe. So you have to keep that in mind, right? So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to show you guys a little trick that Sam taught me. It's my new favorite trick. I've been teaching it in every class because I just can't get enough of it. How many of you guys are on Sam's website? Yeah, some of you? So if you're not, you should go to samvilla.com because there's more free education on there than you'll find in this whole show. It's pretty incredible. I was kind of baffled by it when I first started looking at his website. I'm like, really, you're just basically giving away for free on your website pretty much everything that he shows you guys on stage. And I really admire that because I like what he said earlier about if you're holding on to what you know, you are basically shorting the rest of the world and especially the rest of your salon. I don't remember if he said it or not, but I always really like to challenge you guys to go back to your salon and share what you got from the show. Because honestly, there's a lot of people in the back of your salon that maybe couldn't afford to come, and that's okay. But you guys are friends, you're gonna help each other out, right? Okay, so those of you that have gone on Sam's site, who has seen him do the twist fringe? Yeah, you've seen it? It's so much fun, isn't it? Because here's what we would usually do to create short to long, short to long. We'd part it down the center, we'd over direct, maybe elevate up, maybe twist our fingers, do a bunch of different things, then we cut short to long, right? That's how we would usually cut a short to long. Then we come to this other side and try and match it. So I just think this is a lot of fun. And I'm gonna have you guys go through the motions with me because if you do it with your hands right now, I really believe that when you get back to the salon and try it on a doll head or on your first client, if we get the motor skills down, you're gonna understand it when you get back. So here's what I want you guys to do. In the salon, you'll put down your scissors and you'll put down your combs for a second because they're gonna get in your way as you try and section this off. Take your right hand, if you're left-handed, just switch my instructions. Take your right hand and I want you to do this for me. Just flat with the floor. Sup, dudes? Flat with the floor. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it into the hair, flat with the floor, where I want my guide for my length to be. My guide is gonna be behind my fingers right now. Now I'm gonna take, and you're gonna point your fingers towards the floor. So point your fingers down. Now take your left hand and put it right on top of your other hands. So fingers out this way, and then put your two fingers flat against your knuckles. This is really, really important because if these knuckles don't go straight up and down and flat, you're gonna change your cutting angle. Now take your right hand down, bring your left hand up, and then turn your left hand flat with the floor. You guys with me so far? Okay? Now, hey, why don't we just use every scissor in my tool pouch? I'm gonna grab my blending scissor. And if I have a lot of long hair there, one last thing I'll do sometimes is I'll grab my comb, just comb that out a little bit so I have a nice playing field. And I'm gonna bring my blending scissor in and I'm just gonna cut away. And I'm gonna move kind of back and forth as I cut away because I like the softness of that. Now before I let this go, I want to explain why this works, because for me it's really important that you understand the technical aspect, so you're not just doing something because it's fun. What's happening with this is the center where it's in my fingers is basically at natural fall. It's coming straight out from where it naturally lives. The outsides are crossing over and getting basically over-directed, the same way that you would do it if you had parted it down the center. But now you just cut it in one straight line, and we get that short to long already. And just creates that nice short to long. Anytime you cut that without cutting a baseline in first, you're gonna have some fringy pieces that pop out and are a little awkward, and that's gonna be your final step in that refinement, is refining that bottom edge, but now you've got the bulk of the work done. And I just think that's a really fun technique. I told my class earlier there's this really important thing that I'd love for you guys to check out. You can just go on Wikipedia and check it out. And it's called performance studies. Especially those of you that are salon owners, it's really important that you understand that when someone walks through the door, from the time that they walk through the front door of your salon to the time they walk out, they're basically receiving a performance from you. They're receiving a performance by the way your salon smells, the way it's lit, the cleanliness of it, the music that's playing, everything about it. What does your front desk person look like? Does your front desk person dress nice? Because if I walk in and your front desk person's in sweatpants, I'm not getting a good performance. So when they sit down in your chair as a stylist, your performance comes from how you look and how you act and how you present yourself. Would you guys agree? So dressing the part is really important, looking the part, even being able to speak well. I have a young guy that works for me in my salon, and I had to help him because I think he's about 22, and he's grown up a skateboarder like I did, and so like and sorta and kinda are every other word. And he's working with ladies that are business women, and I'm like, you need to learn how to speak with confidence, and you need to learn to speak straightforward to him. Because if every other word comes out like, sorta, and kinda, you've basically diluted any statement you made. So it's all about the performance. Another part of our performance is how you actually touch the hair. You could create that in probably 10 different ways. I could probably ask each one of you how you usually create that, and I'd get 10 different answers. Would you agree? So by taking it and doing it in a different way than your client has seen it before, now you're creating a new performance. And our biggest complaint is always, I came over to you because my hairdresser never changed my hair, right? So this is how you change their hair. It doesn't even have to look that different in the end, but if they see you change the way that you approach the hair, they believe you've done something new, and they feel different, and they feel fresh, and they feel alive. Does that make sense? Yes, can I get a hallelujah? Yes. All right, so here's what we're gonna do now. Is we're gonna start to dry this, and I wanna show you a couple of other drying techniques. because there's a couple things that I really love about our blow dryer and some of our brushes, and I want to share a little bit of that with you. So how many of you have seen Sam drop this on the floor about a dozen times today? Does that sound broken? No. Is this busted up and broken? I've seen him drop this exact blow dryer, and I can tell you it's the right blow dryer because of the little thing on the bottom of it. I've seen him drop this exact blow dryer at least a dozen times in 3 or 4 other shows, so durability is not an issue. The blow dryer has a great airflow to it. It's hot enough without being ridiculous, and I like what Sam said the other day. We're being taught that hotter is better, and that is not true. Hotter is not better. Hotter is destroying our hair texture, but the one thing that I've learned recently, and I think this is really important, is if you have too much heat on a color molecule, the color molecule will actually degrade. Color fadage has become way more of a problem these days because of the heat of our tools. So I'm going to start working this with the paddle brush, and basically I'm just going to work it around the head. Now Sam really loves to use his nozzle when he's flat wrapping. Sometimes I just love to take the nozzle off and get real free flow with it. So I'm wrapping that fringe area back and forth and back and forth. And the reason I'm doing that is that's where all those growth patterns and cowlicks live, right? So by working that hair in X pattern back and forth and following close behind with the heat, that's going to help start breaking down all those growth patterns in the fringe. The paddle brush is nice, it's all natural bamboo, so it feels good in your hand. And the pad actually has some give to it. As you press down into the hair, that give starts to grip and grab the hair. So if you have someone with really gnarly hair, you press down in, and those bristles actually grab a hold of the hair, and you can stretch the hair more now. So I'm just working